right, then welcome to Business Center. My name is Kelvin Yakundi. Today we are discussing about the fisheries in the urban areas. Now, welcome to this show. Remember to just send us your comments and talk to us on our Facebook at Metropole TVKE. We'll sample some of your comments at the end of this show. Now, the question for today is, when was aquariums discovered? When was aquariums discovered? So remember, whichever way you want to send, in Swahili, in English, just send it and tell us when you think aquariums was discovered. But before that, we are going to get into today's news. And now, the third wave of COVID-19 in Kenya continues to take its toll on Kenya, with surging new infections, deaths and hospital admissions. In the last 24 hours, Kenya has recorded 1,064 new cases of COVID-19, with a positivity rate of 17.3% after 6,151 tests were conducted. Hospital admissions have hit 709, with 2,223 patients on home-based care, as 104 others fight for their lives in the ICU. At the same time, 7 more patients have succumbed to the disease, raising cumulative fatalities to 1,925. This as President Uhuru Kenyatta chaired a consultative meeting with political party leaders who committed to adhere to COVID-19 containment measures as the country battles a third wave. Now to matters agribusiness. Now, the President Uhuru Kenyatta on Friday issued 2 executive orders on the reforms in the coffee and tea subsectors. Executive Order number 2 of 2021 on the coffee subsector reform follows recommendations of the President's task force and approves the transmittal of Coffee Bill 2021 in Parliament. The President said that the enactment of the Crops Act 2013 and the Agriculture, Fisheries and Food Authority ACT 2013 led to the takeover of the functions of the Coffee Board of Kenya by the Agriculture and Food Authority. On the other hand, Executive Order number 3 of 2021 on the revitalization of the tea subsector directs that the Attorney General to conduct an inquiry into allegations of statutory and regulatory breaches committee by KTDA, among other instructions. Kenya's third largest foreign exchange earner, with the sector providing a livelihood of 620,000 smallholder farmers and also supporting over 6 million people, NCPB has exhausted this thing. It is emerging that the National Cereals and Produce Board, NCPB, has already exhausted resources it allocated for commercial maize patches and is not currently buying maize from farmers. Speaking to Kenya News Agency Nakuru on Tuesday, NCPB Chairman Mutea Iringo said the board has urged up to 1.2 billion shillings, which was part of the money received from the National Treasury, adding that the funds were divided to various depots across the country, which have exhausted their allocation and are no longer buying maize. He explained that the NCPB is now awaiting for the balance of 4 billion shillings to continue with the maize buying process and other commercial trading purposes, including purchase of beans, green grams, rice and fertilizer. Iringo said NCPB has so far bought 675,000 bags of 50-kilogram bags of maize from farmers at 2,700 shillings per bag. Meanwhile, on the controversy surrounding NCPB debts, the chairman explained that a meeting between the Agriculture and Treasury Cabinet Secretaries will soon be held to specifically resolve a 5-year-old KCB bank debt of 7.3 billion shillings. The loan, according to the chairman, Iringo noted, has been brought about after the cereal board had taken a loan of 4.2 billion shillings between 2016 to 2018 for subsidized fertilizer, and which now had accrued interest. At the end of last year, the NCPB had been owed debts to the tune of 18.1 billion shillings by government agencies, which had been incurred over years for grain handling services and other amenities. Now, the Cereal Millers Association, CMA, has raised concern over an increase in the supply of maize that has high levels of aflatoxin. In a statement, the CMA says tests done by its members when receiving this maize have found that the aflatoxin levels are higher than the allowable 10 ppb rate. The CMA has now requested relevant government agencies to encourage best practices for farmers increase and use the AflaSafe to promote safe maize, increase testing along Kenya's cross-border trade points, assess alternative uses of contaminated maize, as well as implement an elaborate mechanism of following up on the destination of maize rejected by its members. The CMA has also requested all millers in Kenya to strengthen their internal quality systems and use scientifically proven methods of sampling and testing maize. Further, all mills must be audited regularly to ensure that they adhere to food safety regulations so as to help mitigate the exposure and risk of milling contaminated maize, thereby ensuring that the flour churned out is safe for human and animal consumption. The statement from cereal millers comes weeks after the government stopped importation of maize from Uganda and Tanzania after finding high levels of aflatoxin in maize from the two countries. Exposure to aflatoxin is associated with liver cancer. Now, the National Federation of Sugarcane in Kenya and that stands with farmers is pushing for the revival of state-owned sugar industries in Kenya after incurring operational costs valued at 268 billion shillings in the last 5 years. In a statement to the Kenya News Agency on Monday, the Federation's Secretary General Ezra Okoth said public millers only produced 14% of the total tons of sugar, while the private sector produced 86% of the year 2020. The statement signed by National Chairman Ibrahim Juma, Chief Executive Officer Francis Mugo, and Executive Committee member William Kopi stated that some of the millers are non-operational, like Mumias Sugar, while others like Chemilil, Muhoroni, and Zoya are poorly performing. He revealed that the industries are facing various challenges, including low cane supply, excess sugar importation, and lack of regulations, among others. The Secretary General added that these non-functional industries provided a livelihood for more than 6 million people in the rural areas in Nyanza and Western Kenya who are now left jobless. Okoth further advised that in order for the sugar industry to survive and develop, the influence of cartels in the industry must be contained. He therefore called on the elected political leaders from the sugarcane belt to be united and move this critical revival of the sugar sector for the benefit of all sugarcane farmers. Now, the county government of Taita Taveta has imposed a ban on all livestock movement in and out of the county following an outbreak of foot and mouth disease. The disease, which was initially reported in early February at Mgeno grazers in Mwatate, has now spread to other sub-counties of Voi and Wundai, prompting a county ban on animal movement, even as veterinary officers rush to curb the deadly spread. Speaking to the Kenya News Agency, County Executive Committee member for Livestock and Agriculture, Mr. Davis Mwangoma, said that over 800 cattle have been affected by the outbreak. No animal fatality has been reported so far. He said the county had deployed veterinary officers to the affected farmers for treatment and monitoring, even as farmers are advised on interim remedies, including use of sodium bicarbonate, isolation of sick animals, and mining movement. Taita Taveta County is classified as a disease-free zone as a favorite region for livestock exporters who use the ranches in the region to fatten their animals before exports. However, such unexpected disease outbreaks place the disease-free status at risk. According to 2019 census, the county has slightly over 114,000 herds of cattle. The number of sheep and goats is 46,000 and 202 respectively. The Veterinary Directorate has announced plans to roll out an emergency vaccination campaign once the vaccines are delivered from Kenya Veterinary Vaccines Production Institute in Nairobi. Now we are going for a short break, but remember our question of the day was, when was the first aquarium discovered? We'll be talking to one Mwimbi who is a maker and he just makes aquariums in houses, and we are just going to talk to him so that we may get these fisheries in the urban areas and what it really brings into our country. Now we're going for a short break. Remember, we are live on Facebook at Metropole TV KE. We'll be back with more.